So today we're going to be talking about the Goldwing seat, not the Russell Daylong versus OEM versus Corbin or any of that. We're going to talk about how hard this seat can be to put in. So if you're struggling to put in your seat and get this silly little bolt down here to line up, this could be a video that will help you out a lot. I'm going to take the seat out. I'm going to show you how the seat actually is meant to line up, which will help you a ton in understanding why it is so hard to put this seat in sometimes. And I'm going to give you a little trick here to help you out. So if you're struggling to put your seat in, this could be the video that will help you out and let you understand, at least, I hope, what is going wrong with your seat. So that's the goal for today's video. Now I have the Russell Daylong, which is, they take an OEM seat and they just replace the whole top. So the bottom of the seat is exactly the same as the OEM seat because it is the OEM seat underneath. So it doesn't matter that this is an RDL or that it's an OEM seat, it's the exact same problem. I have flipped my seat up so we can talk about all the pieces that go into how the seat fits. It wasn't until I went through this exercise with a borescope, honestly, to peek under the seat to see how everything lines up that I really understood what the problems were. So we'll start at the back of the seat here, talk through real quick all the pieces on the seat and how they mate to the bike. You've got these two prongs, one goes here, and they are just holding the back of the seat up. Two rubber pads, one here, one here. Again, they hold the seat off this rail, and then a rubber pad here and here, which go here and here, and they on this bar, so they lift the seat off the back. All these two is give you about 1/4 inch of space above this bar area here for this piece right here. I'm pretty sure that's why they put these rubber stoppers in. You've got these two prongs right here, or hooks, which go on these two prongs right here that hold the seat down. You've got these two right here, which hook right here, and they also hold the seat down. Then as you come forward, you have this piece here and here, which hold the seat from the outside from moving in. And then you've got this tab and this tab, which keep the seat from moving out. So these four pieces keep the seat from turning this way. And then obviously the holes for the bolts. These pieces keep the seat from lifting. So this, and this hold the seat down. This, and the frame rails hold the seat up. These two and these two keep the seat from turning sideways. Those are all the parts of your seat, which is a crazy amount of engineering for a seat. So let's talk through what's probably causing your problem. Now I'm going to show you the borescope I ran, and that will show you why we have so many problems. When I first ran all these wires in here, and I have a big bundle of wires right here, this is power, and most of my lights I routed off this side of the bike. I've only got a few that are routed up here that go to this side. When I first put these on, I actually had these zip tied to the side of the rail. So I thought they'd be out of the way and they'd be secure because they'd be out of the way, they'd be nice and tidy. I don't like big rat's nest under here. But what I found was that you can see the wear mark right there. That's where that plastic tab hits. Then there's another plastic tab that hits right here. So any kind of zip ties right here are going to hit this tab, or could hit this tab on both sides. You really only have a space about this wide between this piece and this piece. So I actually need to cut this one off, and I'll show you why on the borescope. This rail is where the seat rests. And if you've put your bolt in right here, and you've noticed that it's lifting, it's usually in my experience, it's too high. I've always got to push it down. I've got to push it all the way back, and I've got to push it down. It's a very hard thing to line up this bolt hole. So what I found was these wires were constantly getting in the way. So by running the borescope under, what I found was you have space from about here to here to put stuff. You have no space on top of this rail, no space on the inside of this rail. This zip tie misaligns this bolt because the seat rests on this zip tie instead of on this frame rail. And that bolt hole is so close and the fitting is so tight that this won't work. It lifts it up enough that I've got to actually force this side down and push it in place. I've got it lined up right now where it's lined up in between two rests on the bottom of the seat. So it's kind of out of the way, but I'm going to cut it and zip tie it up today. That's why I'm in here. So if you have wires, you need to run them in here below this fuel pump. You have like a diagonal line from here to here that you can run stuff in. That's why this is the Gold Strike distribution block. This keeps everything tidy, but it also forces all the wires into this little gap, which is the only space you have to put anything. Now, when we get to the back, you can see I've got this, the Gold Strike flasher module in here. This can get in the way. I've got to make sure this is all the way down and tucked out of the way so that it's not holding the seat up. So, and when I put that in here, obviously you've got this big dummy plug that gets in the way sometimes. So I've got to tuck it down when I'm putting my seat back on. So that's another problem. You have very little room right through here and very little room back here. This is really tight. I'll show you that again. On the borescope I'll show you, but there is almost no room back here. Everything has to be very flat. You've got the prong that goes here and a prong that goes here. So if you are getting your wires in the way, the prong will hit this is my trailer harness right here. That prong can hit my trailer harness. So I've got to keep it out of the way. You have this wire on the borescope, well, I'll show you, touches the bottom of the seat. So this is how much room you have. See how flat this component is? You've got to get your stuff in this little tiny area. You maybe have a 1/4 inch above this area right here to have wires. And then you've got space right back here. So the two spaces that you have are right here, off the rails, and right here in front of the head unit, because back here, the seat lifts up. So you've got space right back here. If you've got wires under here, then that is likely what's causing you to have such a problem lining up your seat on this 2018 Plus wing. So I recommend you zip tie everything back into this area just like I did. I mean, even my fuse is a pain in the butt here. I didn't realize it when I put it in, because if it turns up, it can bind up on the seat. So I've got to make sure it's turned down when I'm putting my seat on, so it's out of the way. So all of this is where I get all my problems from. So today I'm going to clip this, I'm going to zip tie it underneath, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to line up these two bolts when I put them back on a little bit. It's really, obviously, can't really shoot it, but this is where Honda went wrong, in my opinion. This is where Honda really did us no favors. This is so far back that you can't see it. You're going in here blind. So I'm going to show you a trick to try to line this up, but you're kind of going in here blind, as you know. You're going in there, you can't see, there's no way to see if the bolt hole is lined up or not, and you're really deep in combined with it. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'll show you that little trick. So trick number one is really just get all these wires out of the way. You've got to get them all bundled up tightly. Nothing can be on the top of this rail. I mean nothing, because it will lift that bolt hole off and you'll be fighting with it. This is my last one to clip off. And then nothing can be in this area. So you have, again, this space and this space, that's it. So let me get my seat down here. I got to run my wire back underneath, and then I'll get the bolts lined up and put in, and I'll show you a little bit of a trick for lining those up. All right, so put my seat back on real quick here. I got to tuck my heater wire through that little hole. I will be taking the zip tie off and fixing it in a little bit. So if you put your seat on, you know that you've got to pound this thing into place. To get it in. One of the things I found that helps is to hop on the bike and then put your feet on the pegs and give her some love. So really force that back. And then check your seat and make sure you're lined up in the back. So the next step I've got to do is put the bolt in down here. So I'll show you how to do that in just a sec. Okay, so The bolt hole's right down here, and as we all know, we've got this famous little fun bolt put in there, and it's never lined up. Right now it's not lined up, actually. I can see in there. What I'll do is you can grab this little dog ear and you can push on it, and that'll give you just enough to get that where it goes. And then you can lock it down. So this dog ear, grabbing this dog ear and lifting really helps a ton to lining this up. And that's how I put that side in. So the other side's the same. You can lift the other dog ear right here. And I'll show you a picture from the bolt hole perspective, what is actually happening there. Again, I'm an engineer, so I was like really, I bore scoped it and tried to figure out everything that was going on under the seat to figure out what my problems were. So that's it. If you're having a problem with your seat, I would recommend that you check out underneath and make sure that all of your wires and everything you've put underneath there, or even the stock wires, are in their harnesses where they belong. Nothing has been moved or fallen out of place. All right. That is all.